Shawty be jacking the love train, she know what it is. Love strain, she know what it is. She shawty be puffing the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty be riding the love train, she packing the kids. She shawty in houses. She in love with the drugs and the honesty. We fall out of love platonically and fall back in love periodically. She shawty be jacking the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty be puffing the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty in houses. She in love with the drugs and the honesty. We fall out of love platonically. We fall back in love periodically. I'm in the building, y'all. Pumping the pounds. Rolling holes away that love it now. I'm in the building, I'm in the building. Let's ride out. I'ma pull up to the telly. To the telly though, like Kamala and Willie. Throw it in your belly. Throw it in your belly like Kamala and Montel Williams. Switching sweet, I'm good though. Baby know what it is. Find the leaf in the coupe. Ride up in the sports car. Baby, you know what it is. Riding in infinities. Baby, we can go from the moon to infinity. She rolling up. Baby girl looking good and she Colombian all on my coupe. Time tell me, baby, you tryna lay up with me and you know you looking crazy. Laying in Mercedes. She shawty be puffing the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty be riding the love train, she packing the kids. She shawty in houses. She in love with the drugs and the honesty. We fall out of love platonically and fall back in love periodically. She shawty be jacking the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty be puffing the love strain, she know what it is. She shawty in houses. She in love with the drugs and the honesty. We fall out of love platonically. We fall back in love periodically. Welcome to the check-in report. I am your humble host, your gracious host, True and Living. This is the check-in report, you know. I'm not your homie, I'm the one and only Macaroni. Welcome to the show, y'all. She know what it is. We're not gonna run it back. We're not gonna run it back. Yeah, man, I'm in the building though. I'm in the building. We're here to talk about it. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, y'all. Koala Bear Harris. Come, Amelia. You come and go. The Prince of Camelot. She conducted an interview, an old interview with her and Lizzo. Her and Lizzo, they got on a call and they had a little interview. I want to talk about that tonight. You know? They talked about the black vote. They talked about, you know, black people voting. They talked about a various of a lot of things. And I wanted to talk about that tonight. Oh, we got Sinclair in the building. What's up, Sinclair? Sinclair's in the building. What's up, Sinclair? What we got in the building? We got a few people in the building. Okay. Yeah, tonight, listen, I wanted to talk about this interview that Kamala conducted with Lizzo, and they were talking about the black vote. And then and a bevy of other things. It was about a 30-minute discussion. Now, this discussion, it happened in 2012. Actually, say that back. It happened in 2020. About 3 years ago. And one of the topics that they discussed was the black vote. And I thought it was, you know, interesting, some of the things that Koala Bear Harris said. I thought it was something that we could discuss here, have a dialogue here, and really lay this thing out, if you guys don't mind. You know, we coming live and direct from the beautiful suburbs of Long Island. How you guys doing out there? We got a lot to get to. So, Koala Bear Harris, she conducted an interview with Lizzo.
who was unraveled in her own thing. Koala, Lizzo, she's been accused of harassing her workers, sexually harassing her workers, putting them in unsafe and tumultuous work environments. But she sat down with Lizzo. Now, don't you guys find that interesting that, she don't have time for, anybody articulate? This is how the Democrats work. Just in case if you don't know, this is how the Democrats work. Kaya Witness, you called me academics. I'm going to pitch you to the block party. Welcome to the block party. Kaya Witness, welcome to the block party. Welcome to the block. You think I'm academics? Well, welcome to the block party. Hopefully you can say hi to the chat niggas. Go get me some watermelon, alkaline water, and some barbecue potato chips. Welcome to the block party. Salute to you. Congratulations. Now back to the show. I think it's funny that, the Democrats, they operate with, they only want to talk to entertainers. They don't want to sit down and talk to a Umar Johnson, a Tariq Nasheed, even an Ice Cube. Eloquent, articulate people that want incentive for the black community. That are expecting and wanting more for the black community from the candidates. Because the entertainers are safe. The entertainers aren't going to ask you the hard questions. They're not going to ask you about reparations. They're not going to ask you about a hate crime bill. They're not going to ask, the entertainers won't ask the hard questions. So, the political left, they would rather sit down with the entertainers. But she conducted this interview with Lizzo, and I thought there were some interesting things that were being said in this interview. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. And I have to play my clip. I have to play this clip. It's of critical importance that I play this clip.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people.
One more time, y'all.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Without any further ado, let's get into it, y'all.
What? What's up, Kamala?
Wait, let me just tell you something. That happened to me at least for the first 2 or 3 times. I tried to do it. I'm like, it's rough. It can be rough.
There's a lot of people in here. I had to filter. I was like,
no, right, and it goes really quickly.
You heard what Lizzo said. She said there's 5 people that were in here that she had to filter, creating a safe space for Miss Kamala Harris. And listen, like I said, they sit down and talk with these people, with these black entertainers, because it's a safe space for them. Kamala Harris knows that Lizzo will not ask her the tough questions. She won't ask her and put her feet to the fire about a reparations bill. I would love. Why can't Koala Bear Harris sit down with a Tariq Nasheed, a Dr. Umar Johnson, even a Dr. Cornel West? Articulate people that maybe could, get her on the side of black people and doing things for black people. Why can't she sit down with someone like that? Why is it always an entertainer, whether it's Quavo, whether it's Lizzo, whether it's Megan Thee Stallion? Why can't you sit down with some articulate people, Kamala Harris? Is that what you think of the black vote? You can't sit down with any upstanding black people that can think for themselves, move for themselves, who could do some critical thinking. Why can't you sit down with them? That's what I want to know. I have yet to see you sit down with the critical thinker, a critical black thinker yet. Let's continue though.
well,
How you doing?
you're somebody who I've wanted to talk to for a long time. So thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. I know you're busy.
You're welcome.
Busy doing what? What is Kamala Harris busy doing? Pushing pencils? Not going to the border? Picking out the G-string Meg Thee Stallion is going to twerk on stage with? What is she busy doing? I don't know what she's busy doing. You know, black people wanted Kamala Harris to talk about the issues, talk about a reparations bill, talk about, you know, a hate crime bill. She's too busy picking out the type of G-string she want Meg Thee Stallion to wear on stage. She not putting in the work, in the effort for black folk. She too concerned of what G-string Meg Thee Stallion gonna wear. Oh, Meg Thee Stallion, I seen these nice little hot pants that I want you to wear on stage during the rally. Picking out the type of weave she want her to come out wearing. She worried about the wrong things. You know.
Where are you right now?
I am in DC.
Okay.
And I have been, let's see, I can't even keep up. I was in Philly yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was in France.
She don't even know her itinerary. You know, she's never, keep in mind, y'all, she's never went to the border. Millions of people pouring into the border. Gangsters, mobsters, sex offenders, all types of criminals pouring into the cities. She don't even know where she at. She wake up in one town. She don't even know what town she's at. Ain't been to the border. Ain't talked to the border officials. What exactly has Kamala Harris been doing? Can somebody tell me what has she been doing in the last 3.5 years? What has she been doing? Can anybody tell me? I know we got a couple Kamala sexuals in the building. What has Kamala Harris been doing for the last 3.5 years? What's she been doing? What has Kamala Harris been doing for the last 3.5 years? Please, somebody let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat right now.
Fresno, California, because I was, you know, the fires have been off, and meeting with families and fire.
She said the fires in Fresno, California have been crazy. That's true. In California, there was a lot of fires happening around that time. Salute to those people. Anybody from California in the building? Did you see Kamala Harris out there talking to the people, helping the people, touching the people, out there where all those fires were happening in California? Did anybody see her? I need to know, because she talked back then. This was about 3 years ago. I just want to know, you know, we got some people from California in here. Let me know. Did you see her out there? Or was she just in the, you know, was she just on the Air Force One? You know, doing her hair, fixing the lipstick. Didn't want to get out the Secret Service van. Didn't want to talk and touch the people. Was she doing the work? I don't think she was doing the work.
Fighters. I've been, where have I been? I've been in Michigan. I've been in Florida.
Well,
the campaign, you have roots everywhere too. And Texas too, right?
Who? Where I'm from?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm from Texas, Detroit. I lived in Minneapolis. I'm in LA right now, so I definitely see the effect of the fires. Like it's.
Where are you from? Yo, can somebody tell me where is Kamala Harris from? You know that the funny thing is, you know, I've been talking about Kamala, but I don't know what state. What state is Kamala Bear Harris? Koala Bear Harris. Come a million. Kamala, whatever it is, the Prince of Camelot. Where is Kamala Harris from, y'all? I need to know. Somebody give me that intel. Give me that intel.
Very smoky here by my house. So everything we can do to bring it to
Stay inside.
Stay inside?
If you can, yeah.
I'm already inside because, you know, we're in a global pandemic as well. So I'm trying to keep.
So this interview was conducted around, you know, the pandemic time, you know,
safe,
so you
keep
know.
ourselves safe. So yeah.
Yeah.
I know we don't have much time today, so I do have some questions for you, if that's okay.
Yes. I'm so happy to be with you. Yes.
Is it okay? I got some. It's a hard question. I want to get it out the way first, if that's okay. So first, I just want to say we live in a culture that demands accountability, especially from our public figures. Yeah. You and I are not excluded from that. We've both known.
I like where this is going. Come on with it, Lizzo. Let's hear it. Come on with it. I like where you're going with this question.
Our fair share of backlash. Yeah. I have seen backlash sometimes about your policies being anti-Black. We're talking about Black.
Anti-Black policies. I want to salute Lizzo for asking this question. Lizzo just said, you know, you've been criticized for your policies being anti-Black. And I agree. A lot of her policies are anti-Black, especially when you speak like this.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
That's anti-Black rhetoric, if you didn't know. That is rhetoric indicative of not helping the Black community. That is rhetoric that is not helping, not fixing, not doing anything for Black people. So I like where Lizzo's going with this question. All right, sister. I like where you're going with this question, Lizzo.
We live in a culture that demands accountability, especially from our public figures. Yeah. You and I are not excluded from that. We've both known our fair share of backlash. Yeah. I have seen backlash sometimes about your policies being anti-Black. We're talking about Black Voter Day. How do you feel about that? And how does that inform your campaign for VP so that Black people feel...
What are you going to do to help Black voters ease the pain of voting for you? Because a lot of Black people, they kind of want to vote for you. But I'm sitting here telling them, do not vote for this woman. She has already came out with this type of rhetoric.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
If you're not going to do anything that's going to benefit Black people, Kamala Harris, why are we benefiting you by voting for you? If you're not going to do anything specifically for us, specifically for our incentive, specifically for our community, then why are we specifically voting for you? Somebody said this was before 2020, dude. I don't care, dude. It's relevant to the topic, dude. If you don't like what I'm doing, you can get out of here, dude. You're a Kamala sexual, dude. Back to business. Listen, and like I said, like, you know, Lizzo called that out. He said, you know, you've been criticized for having, you know, anti-Black policies. You know, policies that are not affecting the Black community. A lot of your policies are blanket, you know, things that are for all Americans. They're not specifically for the Black community. And the issue is, you're doing things for all these other communities. And we've seen this with Barack Obama. We've seen this with the Obama administration. They incentivize every other community, but they don't incentivize the Black community. They go to the LGBTQ community, incentivize them. They go to the Hispanic community, incentivize them. They go to the European Jewish community, incentivize them. But then when they come around to the Black community, this is what they tell us.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
So yes, Kamala, you have had anti-Black policies that do not affect the Black community. You are not doing anything for the Black community at large, the Black neighborhoods at large, the Black agenda at large. You aren't doing anything. You aren't fixing anything. You are not a black woman. You are an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman, tap dancing for the black vote, pandering for the black vote. Let's get back into it.
Heard.
You know, here's the thing. I am a child of parents who marched and shouted for justice in the civil rights movement in the 1960s.
Hold on. I need somebody to look into that. Was Kamala Harris' parents down there in the civil rights movement? Because this is what she's saying. Now, Kamala Harris, when you say these things, people gonna need receipts. Was your father and was your mother down there during the marches with Martin Luther King? Were they getting hosed down? Were dogs biting them all over their hands and all over their ligaments? Were your parents really actually freedom fighters, or are you capping? We need pictures. We need receipts. We need somebody in your family to confirm that this is true. Somebody says she's a liar. I agree, she is a liar. Can anybody confirm that her father and her mother was down there during those riots? Was down there during any of those marches with Martin Luther King? Down there in Selma, boycotting the bus. And you gotta understand something as well. Kamala Harris comes from an affluent family. She doesn't come from from dirt poor family. Her mother was a doctor. Her father was a well-off man as well. So she came from an affluent family. I'm not gonna just believe that your affluent family was down there at the marches, down there getting hit with the fire hose, police letting the dogs loose on the crowd. I'm not gonna take your words for face value. We need to see receipts. Somebody in your family has to concur that what you're saying is true. Let's continue.
There is not a black man I know who has not been the subject of excessive force, racial profiling, or an unreasonable style.
What about racial profiling by the justice system, Kamala Harris? You were a prosecutor, were you not? Were you not a prosecutor, Kamala Harris? A lot of black men, you locked them up, you threw away the key. What about racial oppression in the justice system? Were you not a part of that system? Were you not a part of that white supremacist justice system that threw black men in jail, threw away the key, gave them higher sentences than their white counterparts? Were you not a part of that, Kamala Harris? Charitard, salute to Charitard. He says, heard her dad was Irish Indian. Salute to Charitard with a $2 donation. He said, I heard her dad was Irish Indian. I did the knowledge on her father today, actually earlier this morning. Her grandfather's father was a white man. Her grandfather's father was a white man. So her father's father was a white man. That's the Irish person you're talking about. So in reality, Kamala Harris is about less than 25% black. Less than 25% black. If any. Look into who her father's father is. It's on the internet. You can look this up. Her father's father is an Irish man. Or I don't know if he's Irish, but he's definitely a white man. Her father's father is a white man. So just take a gander at that. Take a look into that if you don't believe me. Take a look into that. Let's continue though.
And it was actually born out of my knowledge about the problems with trusting the system.
Kamala Harris, you was a part of the system. What are you talking about? Were you not a part of the white supremacist justice system? Your knowledge of the system. You know, Kamala Harris, you could have took a job as a public defender and helped a lot of black men that you're throwing in jail. You could have took a job as a defense attorney and helped black men get out of the crutches of the white supremacist justice system. You said no. I'm gonna be a part of this system. Did you not? She's talking about all the woes of the system, all the oppression of the system, all while she was a part of it. She took part of the system. She took hold of the system. She locked those black men up. Gave them higher charges than their white counterparts. But she wants to sweep that underneath the rug. She wants to act like, let's talk about the other, things that are oppressing black people. Let's talk about the cops in the streets. Let's talk about racism and, in neighborhoods. She doesn't want to talk about racism in the court system, racism in the justice system that she took a part of as a prosecutor. This woman was a prosecutor. She threw your black fathers, your black sons in jail, gave them higher sentences than their white counterparts. Should she not be held accountable for taking part of the same system that she's talking down on? Take responsibility, Koala Bear Harris. Take some responsibility.
That made me decide to go inside.
Hold on. Penske, Pencil Tucky. I hope I'm not butchering your name, sir. He got the $5 donation. He says, voting for Harris administration after living through a Biden administration is life-changing. Your shirt after you pooped your pants. I agree. I agree. Like, we have all, listen, let me just say this. No matter where you land on this election, whether abortion is a hot topic for you, whether immigration is a hot topic for you, no matter what the issue is a hot topic for you, there's only one issue that affects all of us. That's inflation. Inflation is running out of control. People have to decide. Should I pay for my groceries or should I pay my rent? Should I fill my car up with gas or should I eat today? That's what people are dealing with in this country. Should I pay my rent or should I pay my phone bill? Everything is tight now. The price of groceries, the price of your gas. It's affecting all of us. Should Kamala Harris be held responsible? I think she should be. I think she should be held responsible. She needs to be held responsible for the lack of leadership. The Biden administration has been asleep at the wheel. You got Jim Crow Joe, Benadryl Joe, NyQuil Joe, DayQuil Joe, nighttime and daytime cough Joe, asleep at the wheel. eating melting ice cream cones. What's wrong with them? Falling off of bikes. Let's get back into it, though. Let's get back into it.
System to see if I could fix it from the inside. And that's why I created one of the first in the country programs focused on young men predominantly who have been arrested for drug sales and giving them jobs and counseling and support.
Kamala Harris, you was locking these niggas up. The least you could do is start a program. You was locking these niggas up. Giving them bloated charges, inflated charges for a little bit of drugs on them. The least you can do is right your wrongs, but you're making it seem like you did something. Kamala Harris, you was a prosecutor. Your job, and let's be honest here, you know, a lawyer is one of the most filthiest jobs. Let's just call it what it is. A lawyer is one of the filthiest jobs. No matter what the evidence tells you, the evidence could be pointing you in another direction. The evidence could be swaying you that maybe this person is not the person that we're looking for. Whatever the evidence is, the prosecutor is taught to hammer home the charges. Even if it doesn't fit, even if it's reasonable doubt. Hammer home the charges. Get a conviction. That's what prosecutors do. That was Kamala Harris' job. That's what her job was to do, to hammer home the charges. Lock up black men, throw away the key. But now she wants to talk about a program. Oh, we did a program that helps, people that had drug charges and yada, yada, yada. But why didn't you have that civility when you were throwing them black men in jail? Why you didn't have that humanity as a prosecutor to say, no, we're not gonna pursue charges on him because it's reasonable doubt? The least you could do is a damn program to help the black men that you worked to throw them in jail. This the least you can do. The least. The least you can do is work for the black men that you threw in jail, Kamala Harris. So I don't think that's something you should be proud about, because you a lot of those black men you're throwing in jail.
Dismissing the charges against them. That's why I
dismiss the same charges that you inflated and bloated on those black men, and they had to serve, a numerous amount of years, more than their white counterparts. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Black men have to serve higher numbers of years in jail than their white counterparts that did the same crime. That's something that they don't talk about. Kamala Harris was a part of that system, that white supremacist system that she's talking down on. She was a part of it. She took a part of it. But she thinks that, I did this little program and we did this and yeah. But where was this humanity when you were throwing them in jail? Ridiculous.
Focused on children, and particularly young girls who are being trafficked. And said they don't need to be arrested and put in juvenile hall. We need to create a safe house for them. Instead of calling them, young prostitutes.
Now remember, Lizzo was asking her about her policies being anti-black. I haven't heard anything about a reparations bill, a hate crime bill, things that black people want, that we're looking for, that we're asking for in terms of incentivize. I have yet to hear any of those issues. She's talking about things that affect all communities. Drug crimes. Drug crimes happen in white communities. Do they not happen in white communities as well? There's an opioid crisis in white communities just like in black communities. Sex trafficking, that happens in black communities and it happens in white communities as well. A lot of these are issues that are plaguing America, not just the black community. Where is the reparations bill? Where is the hate crime bill? You have not spoken about the things that directly affect black people, Kamala Harris. Let's talk about it.
We need to understand that they have been bought and sold as though they are merchandise, and we need to protect them. During the time that I was Attorney General of California, I created initiatives that were some of the first in the nation around requiring statewide law enforcement to wear body cameras and keep them on. One of the first in the country.
You required that, but we still get a situation like Sonia Massey. You required that, but we still get a situation like George Floyd. You required that, but there's black people still being cut down like dry weeds in the street. So in reality, you just televised all of the things happening to us. Where's the change? Where's the hate crime bill to protect the next Sonia Massey? Where's the hate crime bill to protect another black citizen being cut down in the street like dry weed? Where's the hate crime bill, Koala Bear, Prince of Kamala Harris? You're talking about body cams. I'm talking about change. I'm talking about actually helping. I'm talking about actually doing things, not giving police department body cameras. Oh, you gave the police department 16 megapixel body cameras. Oh la la. All the police officers can be YouTubers now. They're all going to be on Twitch gaming. That's essentially what you did. You made police officers YouTube streamers. Where's the change impacting the black community? Reparations, hate crime bill, helping and fixing the infrastructure in our neighborhoods. Where's the actual change? Not body cams. Body cameras ain't gonna fix the neighborhoods.
To require police officers to have training for implicit bias and procedural justice. So that's the work that I've done. And it was, I mean, yes.
Hold on. I didn't see this one. Some Charitard. Salute to Charitard. $2 donation. Salute to Charitard. He says she laughs like she's like the three hyenas from The Lion King. She has the worst laugh known to man. She's a cackling cow. She has the worst laugh known to me. I hate that laugh. That laugh is nauseating. It's annoying. It disturbs me to my inner core. It's a disgusting laugh. It's a disgusting laugh that I don't like. Let's continue, though. Let's continue.
It was about going in the system. But one of the things I have to say is we really ought to know the power that we have in every place and never decide that any one place is excluded from us being there.
What have you done with your power, Kamala Harris? You've been in office for 3.5 years. Vice presidency, Madam Vice President. What have you done besides push pencils and do cooking videos with Mindy Cadling? I think that's her name. What have you done? What have you done to help the communities at large? If anything, you've been hurting the communities at large. Middle-class families are feeling the pinch of the economy. Middle-class families are suffering. Middle-class families have to decide if they're going to keep their house or they're going to pay their grocery bill. Are they going to pay their electric bill or are they going to pay their car note? Right now, Americans in the middle class, they're suffering. And while you cackling cow, like while you cackling like a cow, you're always cackling. What's so funny? But while you cackle, the American public is suffering under the weight of inflation that you're not fixing, that you're not helping the situation. But you're running for president? Madam President? For what? You've been doing a terrible job. You and Biden have been doing a terrible job thus far. We don't need another 4 years of you and Biden.
To get the kind of change we want, right? So I made the decision to go up the rough side of the mountain, to go inside the system. But you know, I also understand, you know, the brilliance of being outside of the system.
Keep in mind, she's still, you know, she's yammering on. I haven't heard anything that's going to directly impact the black community. Directly affect the black community. I have not heard that.
System when you have the brilliance of Black Lives Matter and that movement and what it has done to force change.
Black Lives Matter? You're talking about the same organization that stole millions? Black people are suffering. Infrastructure in the neighborhoods are suffering and crumbling. While they sit up in mansions, high-rise homes. Black Lives Matters, they stole millions. They scammed millions. All of those communities of people that came out, that was protesting, walking the streets, holding up the signs, doing the work. They spit in those people's faces with their millionaire homes, not giving back to the people. Why haven't Black Lives Matter fixed up Chicago, Detroit, all of the black neighborhoods that are crumbling? Why didn't Black Lives Matter build a youth center? A place for black women that are suffering from domestic violence. Why did they not build these types of things for black people? All they have to show for is a mega mansion. These people are charlatans. And she's talking about the brilliance of the Black Lives community. The brilliance. The scam was brilliant. The bamboozling was brilliant. They scammed those people that were out there for a real cause. Let's continue.
So there you go. But you know, and when we talk about the national black
spit it out, spit it out. I ain't got no patience for her. I ain't got no patience. Let's continue.
Black Voter Day and Voting Day, it is about saying that each one of us should use our voice and own our power. And when we own our power, I think we know that there is no place that is off limits for us.
Right.
No matter what people might suggest.
Right. And the black vote is so important, so much that we've seen intentional voter suppression tactics of the black community. It's exhausting. So do you have any words for Black Americans?
Now, I'm not going to lie. Voter suppression is real. Voter suppression is real. I will admit voter suppression is real. But I gotta be honest. I gotta be real. I gotta keep it a buck with black people. This election, you should not be running to the poll to vote for this woman. Listen, I'm not here to tell anybody who to vote for. Vote for who you want to vote for. I'm just here to give you my opinion, my perspective. Vote for who you want to vote for. But if you're black, you have to really ask yourself, what are you voting for? What are you voting for? You got one president on one hand, and let's talk about Donald Trump for 1 second. He's talking about federal immunity for officers. The same officers that deleted Sonia Massey. The same officers that deleted George Floyd. The same officers that deleted Tamir Rice. Then you have an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman, and this is her rhetoric.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
That's her rhetoric. Is that what you're supposed to vote for? Two people that are not for the black community, not enriching, not working, and giving the black community any incentivized to vote for them. So you are in a pickle. In my opinion, black people, you should sit on your vote this year. Unless either one of these candidates want to sit down with us, is going to have it in writing, is going to write it in writing and promise us and give their John Hancock on a piece of paper and promise us these incentivize, we can't do business with you in terms of our vote collectively. That's the only way I'll be able to work with any of these candidates. If we can't do that if we can't get that from either one of these candidates, it's no reason to vote for neither one of these candidates. That's just my opinion. So black people, we're in a pickle. I got to be honest, we're in a pickle. We are in a pickle.
Americans who are feeling discouraged to vote, because there's a lot.
I know. I mean, here's the thing, Lizzo. I think about it in a number of ways. One of the reasons that we have historically voted once we got the right to vote, right, is, and let's just put that in context for a moment. Just recently, we were celebrating the passage of the 19th Amendment, 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote, right? Mm-hmm. But 100 years for that. But to be clear, black women couldn't start voting until 1965, right? The last big event before COVID hit for me was to go and walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge with John Lewis before he passed away. He shed his blood on that bridge for folks' right to vote, right? So one of the reasons that we know we need to vote is to honor the ancestors.
Let me stop you right there. And I hate when people bring this up and I have to attack that narrative of voting just to vote. Voting for the ancestors. I have to challenge that theory directly. Let's challenge that theory directly. And if you're a black person and you're in here watching this, this is for you. I'm going to challenge this theory of just voting just to vote. Voting for the ancestors. I want to challenge this theory right here, right now. Did your ancestors fight for the right to vote for a candidate, or did they fight for the right to have the freedom to vote? Ask yourself that question right now, black person. If you are a black man, a black woman, ask yourself this question. Did your ancestors fight for the right to vote for a candidate, or did they fight for the right to have the freedom to vote? Ask yourself that question. And the reality of that question is your ancestors did not fight for the right to vote for a candidate. They fought for the freedom and the right to have the right to vote. So just voting for no reason makes no sense. Your ancestors put in the work for you to have the right to vote. You have the right, you have the freedom to vote. And if you feel convicted and if you want to vote and you vibe with a candidate, vote. But if both candidates are trash, if both candidates are not working towards your agenda, both candidates are not trying to incentivize you, then there's no reason to vote. Your ancestors fought for the right to vote, not for the right to vote for a candidate aimlessly, blindly, just because. When your ancestors were voting or trying to vote, they were voting because they wanted to impact change. They didn't vote, just to vote for a candidate. They were voting they were fighting rather to have the right to vote. The right to vote. Fighting to have their right to vote. Not to vote for a candidate aimlessly that's not talking about their agendas, not trying to incentivize their community, not trying to work with the people of their community, not trying to work on the infrastructure of their community, that won't sit down with them, that won't talk with them, that disrespects them at every campaign rally by having Meg Thee Stallion twerk on stage. They were fighting for the right to vote. So that's the common misconception. That's a very common misconception. They were fighting for the right to vote, not to vote for a candidate aimlessly, just because we're going to vote just because. They voted because they wanted to impact change. They voted because they were fighting because they wanted to have the right to vote. Big difference. Huge difference.
Those who shed their blood for our right to vote. But in addition, to your point, the reasons that we need to vote are because, one, there are so many issues at play right now. You take healthcare. You've been such a leader and a real international diplomat around.
Lizzo has been a leader and an international diplomat. Every time I see her, she's shaking her ass. She got that wide ass. Whether it's at the Lakers game, concert. How has she been an international diplomat, Kamala? Please break that down. Break that down for me. I need to hear this.
COVID relief. I know the work you've been doing. You've been giving of yourself and your platform. Bill Barr in the United States Supreme Court trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Mm-hmm. President Obama brought that policy together with Vice President Joe Biden, which gave health care to over 20 million people that didn't have access to health care, affordable health care.
How do you guys feel about Obamacare? I just want to hear you guys talk about Obamacare. Humor me. How do you guys feel about Obamacare? Let me just take a look into the chat real quick. Salute to everybody we got in here. We got about 200 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Actually, right now, before we get into that, hit that like button, y'all. What a thrill. It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit the like button. With darkness and silence through the night. A lot of y'all are in the darkness. You need to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button. You know what I mean? Searching and I'll melt into you. A lot of y'all are searching and melting for that subscribe and that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button right now. You know. But how do y'all feel about Obamacare? I do want to hear how you guys feel about Obamacare. Thomas says only affordable for those not working. G-Man says she's not back. She's not black. I'm looking for people talking about the affordable, the Obamacare. I'm looking for that. It sucks. My cost of insurance more than tripled. Okay. Michael says, my parents lost their doctor because of Obamacare. Okay. Vic says, a system cannot fail those it was never designed to protect. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. I respect that statement. I respect that statement. You know? I just want to see how people felt about Obamacare. Baby Bear says Obamacare needs to expand more so that more people in the middle class aren't being scraped more by dumb insurance companies price gouging stuff. Okay. Yeah, I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on Obamacare. All right, let's continue.
It said that people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes, like high blood pressure, should not be banned from coverage. It said that people as up to the age of 26 should be.
Now, keep in mind, I just want you guys to realize something. And I want to salute. A lot of times, I kick in the back of black entertainers that sit down and talk with Kamala Koala Bear Harris, the Prince of Camelot. But I love the way Lizzo came into this interview. She directly asked her about black issues. I love that. And I want to salute that. I want to salute Lizzo for asking her that question. Coming in hot. But every time we listen to Kamala Harris, it seems like she wants to get away from black issues. I want y'all to take note of that. Especially if you're a black voter. If you're a black voter, take note. Take note. Take note that every time she's asked about a black issue, every time she's asked about something regarding the black community, she gives these generalized statements. She broadens the spectrum and makes it about everyone. It's not just about black people. When here you have a black woman, this black woman is sitting down with you, she's talking with you, she's asking you a question about black votes, the black community, but you're making these general statements about all Americans. What she's saying affects all middle-class Americans. Whether you're Hispanic, whether you're white, whether you're black, it affects all Americans. But you're sitting down with a black woman, Kamala. We need to know what you're going to do for us, our community. And the reality of that situation, let me just tell you the reality of that situation. They've incentivized other communities. They've incentivized the LGBTQ community. They've talked directly to them. They've incentivized the Hispanic community. They've incentivized them. They've incentivized all these different communities, the European Jewish community. They've incentivized all these different communities. But when they talk directly to the black community, they continue to hit us with this rhetoric.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
We're tired of it. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. We're tired of it.
Be able to get on their parents' coverage, right? Things like that make a difference, especially when we're talking about black folks.
Especially when we're talking about black folk. Especially when we're talking about black folk. Kamala Harris, you got about 3 black people in your family. What are you talking about? And we never seen them. I've been doing these videos for the last 2 weeks talking about Kamala Harris, and I've only seen 2 black family members in her family. Every time I see a video with Kamala, all I see is her Indian side of her family. Especially when we talk about black folk. I've only seen 2 of your black family members, and one of them is your dad. Where are your other black family members that you have? And Kamala, and just to let you guys know, Kamala Harris is not a black woman. This is not a black woman. This is an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman. Again, this is an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman. This is not a black woman. I don't care how many years she's been in a HBCU college. I don't care if she took an African studies course. This is an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman through and through. You know? I'm calling it how I see it. I'm calling it what I see, you know? I'm just calling it how I see it.
We see in COVID, all the pre-existing conditions that folks have made them more vulnerable. And Donald Trump's trying to get rid of the protection for people with pre-existing conditions. He's trying to get rid of access to affordable health care.
And remember, the Democrats, they deal in scare tactics. Donald Trump is going to do this. Donald Trump is going to do that. He's going to take away this. Project 2025. The Democrats deal in scare tactics. They are far removed from doing work in the community. They are far removed from giving and promising people incentivized things for their communities. They have now resorted to scare tactics. What can make the populace vote for a Democratic candidate? It's scare tactics. That's why you see CNN and ABC and NBC calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy. Scare tactics. It's not hard work. It's not them going out, talking, and touching the people. They're too lazy to do that. They'd rather scare you into voting for them. What's the devil's number one trick? Let me see if anybody's smart in here. What's the devil's number one trick? The devil, the shaitan. What's the devil's number one trick? What's the devil's number one trick? Let me see if anybody's smart in here. I just want to know if anybody's smart in here. We got about 196 people in the building. What a thrill. What's the devil's number one trick? I'm asking y'all. I want to know from y'all. Anybody in the room right now? What's the devil's number one trick? What's the number one tool that he used? There we go. Somebody said deceive, deception, lies. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Deception, lies. That's the devil's number one trick. Deception, deceiving, lies. That's the number one trick that they use. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is a hero to society, but calling him a threat to society while trying to scare people into voting for the Democratic left is just another trick of deception. Donald Trump is no more a threat to democracy than Joe Biden is, than Kamala Harris is. If you ask me, they're all a threat to democracy. Kamala, Joe Biden, Trump, all of them are a threat to democracy. All three of them. Continue.
A pandemic that has killed almost 200,000 people, has been caught by over 6 million people in our country alone. And for black folks, black people.
Let's hear what you have to say about black folk. You talk about black folk. For black folk, you wasn't concerned about black folk when you said this.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Oh, but now you're concerned about black folk. Black folk, black folk. You wasn't concerned about black people when you said this, Kamala.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
You wasn't concerned about us when you said that, did you? You wasn't concerned about us. You wasn't concerned about us when you said that. When you said that, you didn't sound like you cared about black folk. Black folk. It didn't sound like you was caring about black folk then.
People in America are 3 times as likely to catch COVID and twice as likely to die from it. So back to the election. Clear difference. Donald Trump's trying to get rid of coverage in the midst of a public health crisis. Joe Biden is saying,
like I said, they deal in scare tactics. They deal in scare tactics. Remember, this is from 2020, 2019, around that era. The Democrats deal in scare tactics. They don't want to do the work anymore. They're too lazy to do the work. They feel like the work is beneath them. Back in the day, you used to see Obama. He used to pull up to a black neighborhood. He'll shake about 100 hands, kiss a couple babies, brush his shoulder off, do a speech, and break out. That's beneath them now. Now they just want to call up Meg Thee Stallion, have her shake her ass up there for about, 30 minutes, talk about things that don't directly affect the black community, and break out. That's the narrative we see today. They don't want to do the work anymore. Now they're just breaking out, talking about, things that affect all Americans and not talking about things that directly affect the black community.
saying we're going to expand coverage, including making sure that we cover the health care that we all need, not only from the neck down, but the health care that we need from the neck up, and that's called mental health care. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the difference.
Hold on, Kamala. Because now you're talking about mental health care. Remember, we're talking to a prosecutor, a former prosecutor. This woman was a former prosecutor. So I find it interesting. Very interesting that now you want to give people mental health care. Why wasn't you asking for mental health care to the men that you prosecuted in the justice system? Those men that were oppressed, dealing on hard times and they had to sell drugs. Those men that were dealing with, maybe they were in a bad predicament and they had to commit a crime. You wasn't looking into mental health for those men. You wasn't looking into mental health for those men that you locked up, threw away the key, no more to see. You wasn't looking into mental health for those men, but now you're talking about mental health. Why you wasn't giving those black men that you locked up mental health courses? Why didn't you say, you know what? We don't. The people no longer wish to charge this man. We're gonna give we're gonna give the defendant mental health courses. We're gonna send the defendant to a therapist. We're going to send the defendant to a rehabilitation course. You said, nah. We're going to send the defendant to jail. Where was your humanity then when you was a prosecutor, Kamala?
families. Let's talk about what's happening in terms of the fact that black families own 1/10 of the wealth of white families, right?
That's a fact. But Kamala Harris, that's a fact what you just said. Black families, black neighborhoods are not on an equal footing with their white counterparts. But you can directly affect change by putting effect into a reparations bill. You can directly affect change by doing something about that. You can directly affect change by changing the narrative of that. But instead of doing that, you say, nah, we're going to put Meg Thee Stallion in the G-string and some hot pants and shake her ass. She's talking about black people, black families, not being on an equal footing with their white counterparts, but you're not willing to do the work. Give black people reparations. I have yet to hear you talk about reparations. Give black people a hate crime bill. I have yet to hear you talk about that. And we won't be supporting you during election night. Joy says, preaching truth. Yeah, I'm preaching truth tonight. You already know, man. We ain't voting for Kamala Harris. Because your Kamala Harris has put the black people, the black vote, the black agenda at the back burner. So you know what, Kamala Harris? You Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman, we're going to put you to the back burner. And until you put black people to the front, until you try to work for our vote, we're going to put you to the back burner. Put the work in. You want the black vote collectively, you're going to have to work harder than Obama did. If you want the black vote, Kamala Harris, you're going to have to work harder than Barack Obama had to. Hold on, y'all. My fault. I'm dealing with a little bit. Hold on, my fault. I'm back. All right. Yeah. You're going to have to work harder than Barack Obama did, Kamala Harris. You're going to have to put the work in. You're not going to get on stage and brush off your shoulders. You're going to have to talk to the black people. You're going to have to touch the black people. You're going to have to talk to our incentives. You're going to have to promise us some reparations. You're going to have to promise us a hate crime bill that's going to protect black citizens from another Sonia Massey situation. You're going to have to work a little bit harder for the black vote this year. We are tired of being taken advantage of the Democrats. We're tired of it. We're tired of being taken advantage of for our black vote. You're going to have to work a little bit harder this year, Kamala. You're going to have to work harder for it.
And part of the issue, we can go through history about how we got here, but let's deal with the issue in terms of also what the solutions need to look like.
One second. Let me just read the votes real quick. We got a lot of votes in here. We got 1,000 and we got about 1,066, 1,065 votes. Salute to everybody that voted. Keep hitting that like button. We got about 75 likes. Keep hitting that like button, y'all. Keep hitting that subscribe button. It's a thrill to be here with y'all, but hit that like button.
What a thrill.
It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button, y'all.
With darkness and silence through the night.
A lot of y'all are in the darkness. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button. You know what I mean?
I'm searching and I'll melt into you.
A lot of y'all searching and looking for the like button. Hit that like button right now. Let me get to the votes, though. Let me get to the votes. It's imperative that I get to the votes. 1 second, y'all. Out of 1,060, out of 1,076 votes, 1,076. Salute to everybody that voted. 70% are saying Trump. They're voting for Trump. 70%. And then we got a 30% for Kamala Koala Bear, Prince of Kamala Harris. Every time we do a vote, Kamala, Koala, Prince of Camelot, come a million. You come and go. Kamala Harris, you get about 30%. You don't get 70. You don't get 40, 30. You get about, a couple of simps, couple of Kamala sexuals voting for you. But it's mostly Trump supporters voting. Trump supporters are being heard. Sinclair says, don't spam the chat. That's a fact. Sinclair is the overseer. Listen, you better put respect on Sinclair's name. Whatever Sinclair say, I'm co-signing. If Sinclair puts you if she puts you on the block party, I can't help you. If the overseer say put you in the block party, you stay in there. Salute to Sinclair. Let's get back into this Kamala Harris interview.
It needs to be about increasing home ownership, right? One of the greatest sources of wealth for any American family. So our agenda is about tax credits for first-time homeowners of $15,000 to help them with down payment and closing costs to buy a home.
People can't even buy a home. The housing market is terrible right now. I was in an Uber about a couple weeks ago, a matter of fact. And I was in an Uber with a woman. She been a part of the real estate industry for about 30 some odd years, right? She said the real estate industry is in bad shape. She had to get out of it. Whose fault is that? It's your fault, Kamala Harris. It's Joe Biden's fault, Kamala Harris. You have been at the will of this country. Inflation is so crazy. The price of groceries is so crazy. The cost of living is so crazy that people can't start families. People can't get homes because you have been running this country into the ground. The ground. But she's talking about homes, buying homes, yada, yada, homes. It's her fault that people can't buy homes.
We're saying there needs to be $100 billion focused and targeted on low interest loans for Black and brown small business owners, right? Because access to capital is one of the big...
Why did you work on that, Kamala? Because the interest rates are through the roof. The housing market is through the roof. Inflation through the roof. The cost of living through the roof. So all the things you were talking about this interview, you did not ultimately do. Let's go.
Biggest issues in terms of whether somebody can start a small business. We have so many entrepreneurs. I mean, you're such an incredible entrepreneur.
You wasn't helping people with the small business. Y'all was coming after the people that had the PPP loans. Joe Biden came after the people that had the PPP loans. Trump fed the streets. Trump was giving people the stimmies. Trump was giving people the PPP loans. Joe Biden was coming after the people with it. You was hurting small business loaners, coming after them. They were just trying to eat. The government is already robbing us. They was trying to eat. You was hurting the streets. You and Joe Biden was hurting the streets.
Right? People have creative ideas.
You broke the streets' heart.
How to create something, but they just need capital, somebody to invest in them and their plans. We're going to put $70 billion into HBCUs. I'm a proud graduate.
$70 billion into HBCUs? Where was that at? Last I heard, Donald Trump was the one supporting the HBCUs. Please let me know. Did Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support the HBCUs? Donald Trump gave money to the HBCUs, did he not? Salute to St. Clair. St. Clair says no spamming in here. Exactly. Stop spamming. Say what you want. Say how you feel. Talk your talk. But we're not rocking with the spammers. If you're a spammer, get out of here. We're not rocking with no spammers. We're not dealing with the spammers in here. That's a fact, Sinclair. No spamming. We're not rocking with no spamming in here. Spam your mother's text messages. Spam your baby mothers. We're not doing no spamming over here, alright? Let's continue.
Graduate of Howard University, right?
All right.
Right? Our HBCUs are the line of so many talented people who have ended up becoming national and international leaders.
So why didn't you support them, Kamala Harris? Koala Bear Harris? Prince of Camelot? Come a million. Why didn't you support them like Donald Trump did? Is this the reason why?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Is that the reason why you didn't want to support them? Because you don't want to do anything specifically for the black vote? Specifically for us? By us? FUBU? You don't want to specifically help us? Work with us? Incentivize us? I mean, let's talk about it. Let's continue.
So these are the things. But here's the third point I want to make about voting.
She's like filibustering. She's not allowing Lizzo to talk. She's been filibustering a lot of this stuff. Let Lizzo talk. It seems like Lizzo has a lot to say in terms of the black community. She asked two questions about the black community. Let the black woman talk. You're filibustering. There's a third thing I want to say. Let Lizzo talk and ask her questions.
People have got to, I was doing an event in North Carolina earlier before we got on this call. People have to also sit back, black folks in particular have to sit back and ask a question, which is why are so many people trying to make it so difficult for us to vote? Putting in place rules like what they've done in Georgia, because otherwise Stacey Abrams will be governor.
Like I said, listen, voter suppression is real. I'm here to be fair, honest, balanced. Voter suppression is real. But at the end of the day, should black people be voting for Kamala Harris? Absolutely not. So she can talk about voter suppression all she wants. It's fine and dandy. The reality is Kamala, Prince of Camelot, Chameleon. We're not supposed to be voting for you because this is the type of rhetoric that you have been spewing.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So why are we voting for you?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So why are we going to the voting booth camping for you?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So why should black women go to the voting booth and feel like they have some type of allegiance to you?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So why should black men go to the voting booth and feel like they have some allegiance to you?
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Then I don't see the reason for voting for you, Kamala or Koala or Camelot, Prince of Camelot, Chameleon. I don't know what your name is. And listen, I got all these different names. Chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. The Prince of Camelot, Harris, Montel Williams' old piece. His old thing. Come, million. That's what we're calling you.
Stacey Abrams, right? Trying to suppress the vote.
Stacey Abrams. Another black woman that ain't doing the work, ain't helping the community. What is Stacey Abrams really doing? Let's be honest here. Be honest. What is she really doing?
Vote, trying to purge the voter rolls. Why are they making it so difficult, trying to confuse us? Why are they trying to make it so difficult for us to vote? And the answer is this. Because when we vote, things change.
That's a falsity. We voted for Obama. Things didn't change. We voted for Obama a second time. Things didn't change. We voted for Biden. Things didn't change. So you're lying to us. Is that not the sequence of events? We voted for Barack Obama 2 times. He was up there brushing off his shoulders. Was he not brushing off his shoulders? Promising us change, hope. You know who he gave hope to? You know who he gave change and hope to? The LGBTQ community. You know who he gave change and hope to? The LGBTQ community. But when it came to the black vote, when it came to black people in America, he did not give us change. You know,
when we vote, we have a say in who our leaders are. And so part of what I want to just remind everybody on this National Black Voter Day is let's not let anybody take our power. Don't ever let anybody take your power.
Kamala Harris, you was a prosecutor. I feel like she keeps forgetting that. You were prosecuting black men, throwing them in jail, taking away their rights, taking away their right to vote. I mean, has she forgotten that? Has that been like, taken out of her memory? I'm kind of confused here. You were a prosecutor, Kamala Harris. You were prosecuting black men, giving them higher charges than their white counterparts, mind you. Then when those black men did their time, they came back and they did not have the right to vote. Was that not happening? Was that not happening? That was happening. That was happening in real time. That was happening in real time, Koala Bear, Chameleon Harris. That was all happening.
And this is our power to vote, and that being an expression of our voice.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, and speaking of power, if we have you in the House as the VP, that would be incredible, and you would have
a VP that does nothing, pushes pencils,
of power.
and doesn't do the work.
You're signing up for, when you're taking on everything, the good and the bad with this country. I have a question, like, for you, how will Black people be included in your legacy and inheritance?
Yo, I want to salute Lizzo. Lizzo, I want to salute you. Listen, Lizzo, and Lizzo, you're a beautiful woman. Salute to Lizzo. Lizzo, I want to salute you for conducting this interview. I've been watching this for the last, about 13 minutes now. And you have been asking her things that are affecting the black community. So I want to salute you. Lizzo. But let's continue.
Inheritance as Vice President of America.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run that back.
Our leaders are.
Run that back.
And so part of what I want to just remind everybody on this National Black Voter Day is let's not let anybody take our power. Don't ever let anybody take your power. Mm-hmm. And in this case, our power to vote, and that being an expression of our voice.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, and speaking of power, if we have you in the House as the VP, that would be incredible.
A VP that doesn't do anything, doesn't do the work,
such a
pencil pushing.
Position of power, and it's quite an inheritance you're signing up for, when you're taking on everything, the good and the bad with this country. I have a question, like, for you, how will Black people be included in your legacy and inheritance as Vice President of America?
That's an absolutely good question, Lizzo. That's a good question. That's a good question, Lizzo. Because I'm of the belief that Kamala Bear, Koala Bear, Chameleon won't do anything for black people because this is her rhetoric.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And if Lizzo would have heard this rhetoric,
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
She probably wouldn't have even asked her this question.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
But the fact that she never heard this clip,
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
She had to ask her this question.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So what is your legacy going to be in terms of when it comes to black people? We know you're an Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman. We know you're not really a black woman. You're just pretending to be a black woman for black votes. But what is your legacy going to be for black people? That's a very good question, Lizzo. Salute to Lizzo. Let's hear her answer this question.
America.
Yeah. Well, my mother had many sayings, and one of them she would say,
her mother is an Indian woman. My mother had many sayings. Even though my mother isn't black, your mother is an Indian woman. She's not a black woman. Lizzo asked you what will be your legacy for black people. My mother had many sayings. My Indian mother had many sayings. We're not asking you about your Indian mother. What will your legacy be for black people? Answer that.
You may be the first to do many things. Make sure you're not the last. Throughout my career, I have mentored and supported so many folks who are, now in great positions of leadership, and then those who are.
Throughout your career, you've thrown a lot of black men in jail, prosecuted them, thrown them in jail, throwing away the key. You gave them bloviated, inflated charges, never to be seen again. That's what you did, Kamala. Let's keep it real.
For students and making their way through the process. And that's very important to me, because truly, to your point, I think that the thing that is going to be most important as a marker of any of our success is who we brought up, who we uplifted.
Who did you bring up, Kamala? Koala? Prince of Camelot? Come chameleon? Who did you bring up? Did Kamala or Koala or come chameleon, Prince of Camelot, did she announce her VP yet? I cannot wait. I want to see if she's going to announce a black vice president. Or will she be bamboozling and announce a Hispanic candidate? Or maybe a LGBTQ candidate? I want to know who she's running with as a candidate. I'm sure it's probably going to be another woman. And I'm not mad at that, but it's probably going to be another woman.
For whom we expanded the entry so that many more.
She's asking, remember the question, y'all, because sometimes people get lost. She asked her, what will be your legacy in terms of black people, in terms of your presidency? She's talking about her Indian mother, the people that she gave jobs as a prosecutor. I haven't heard anything in terms of working for black people, pushing black agendas, giving black people incentives, helping us get ahead. She's not talking about that. She's talking about giving people jobs that's around her and her Indian mother. That's what she's talked about so far.
More could walk through. And so, but specifically, Joe Biden and I have a commitment that we will name to the United States Supreme Court a black woman. We've never.
You are not a black woman. They said they're going to name. They're talking about the Supreme Court justice. Forgot her name. And listen, that's cool. You gave a black woman a Supreme Court justice job. That's fine and dandy. But what are you doing for black people collectively? That's cool that you gave a black woman a Supreme Court justice job. That's fine and dandy. But what are you doing for black people collectively? Collectively, Kamala, collectively. I'll tell you what you're doing for black people collectively.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
Nothing. You're collectively doing nothing for black people. That's what you're doing. Collectively doing nothing.
Never had a black woman on the United States Supreme Court. You hear me?
You got me. You got me.
Right.
See, and Lizzo, and listen, I'm not mad at that. Lizzo wants to hear, a black woman getting a Supreme Court justice job. I'm not mad at that. And I'm not mad that they put a black woman as the Supreme Court justice. But how does that directly affect black people? How is that helping the everyday middle-class black person in America? How is that helping the everyday lower-class black person in America? How is that helping us pay our bills? How is that helping us deal with the white supremacist cop pulling us over in the streets? How is that helping us, Kamala? It's not. The reality is it's not helping us.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lizzo, she's eating it up. She's eating it up.
Power. Those folks who interpret the Constitution of the United States and make decisions about things like Brown v. Board of Education, whether we're going to desegregate the schools of America. It's going to be about making sure that we have a cabinet that's diverse. I mean, think about Joe Biden for a minute. And again, this is an election where you have two choices in terms of president. A Donald Trump, who has spent full time trying to sow hate and division, or a Joe.
Haven't y'all been trying to sell hate and division? The Democratic left has been selling hate and division as well. Don't just put it on Trump. Every time I look at CNN, ABC, NBC, you're telling me that Trump is a threat to democracy. You're telling me that Trump is a dictator. You're telling me that Trump is a tyrant. So you're a part of the division as well. Stop making it seem like it's just one party. It's both of you. Collectively. It's the conservative right wing and it's the liberal left. Both of you have this narrative. Both of you are causing, discontentment in the country. Both of you can't get it together in the Congress where you can't avert a shutdown. Both of you are responsible. Don't just put it on the political, the conservative right wing.
Joe Biden, who had the audacity to pick a black woman to be on his ticket.
You're not a black woman. You're not a black woman. We dealt with that in the last stream. If you didn't see, Kamala Harris did a whole video. Go back and watch it. It's in my live. There was an Indian woman by the name of Mindy. She asked Kamala Harris 3 times. You're an Indian woman, right? Kamala Harris confirmed 3 times. Yes, I am an Indian woman. I am not black. I am Indian. I don't get jiggy with all this nigga shit. I am an Indian woman. So stop telling me that you're a black woman. You're only black during election season. LB thing says biracial. Listen. If you want to tell me Kamala Harris is biracial, I'll take that. If you want to tell me she's mixed, I'll take that. If you want to tell me she's multicultural, I'll take that. But stop telling me she's a black woman. This is not a black woman. This is not a black woman. This is not a quintessential black woman. And a lot of you are being fooled. You're being bamboozled to think that this is a black woman. This is not a black woman. Cultural, this is not a black woman. In ideals, in perspective, in culture, this is not a black woman. This is not a black woman. Stop being fooled. Stop being bamboozled. A lot of you are being fooled and bamboozled.
Right? And what that means in terms of also a commitment that he has and independently I have to make sure that we have full representation. And that's about the cabinet. It's also about policies that create a pathway because it creates support for folks to do the kind of work that they want to do and need the support to do. And
again, if you want to talk to me, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and donate to the chat.
And there's just so much.
Donate to the chat. If you want me to read your quotes, read what you're saying, you got something you want to get off your chest, donate to the chat. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
At stake, Lizzo.
Yeah.
How you doing? Tell me how you.
I'm good. I'm great. You know,
Yeah.
I was I'm working on music right now. I was driving to the studio and I saw a poster and it said Biden. Have you seen those? It's like Bydon, but it's Biden, but it's Biden.
Bynden. I thought his name was Binden.
Oh, like Donald Trump. Oh, that's good.
I was like, oh, people are getting.
Oh, that's good. That's so good that you're spelling Biden's name wrong. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's speaking to her. That's speaking. She wants to speak to her ignorance. She know Biden's name is spelled Binden. Instead of correcting her, she wants her to feel comfortable and complacent in her ignorance. You know Biden's name is not spelled Byn. It's spelled Binden. But you want her to feel complacent and comfortable in her ignorance. Take note of that, black people. Take note of that. Take note. Let's continue.
Very creative.
Yes.
I did notice though, like the general consensus right now is like anyone but Trump 2020, you know? And that's fine, but I also feel like, you know, the American people deserve more. We deserve a public.
We definitely deserve better choices. I gotta say it. We deserve better choices. We need better choices. We deserve better choices. And we have not been getting them.
Public servant, you know? And I'm curious, what is the heart of y'all's campaign?
It really is.
Let's hear this.
It's about lifting up the soul and the condition of the American people, and treating people with dignity. You know, I mean, that's how I was raised. You treat people with dignity, right? And you don't let anybody take your dignity from you, but you treat people with dignity. And we need leadership that does that. And that's a
were you treating those people with dignity that you prosecuted? Those black men that you threw in jail and threw away the key? Were you treating them with dignity? I don't think you treated those black men that you threw in jail with dignity. You kind of threw the whole, you threw the book at them. You wasn't treating them with dignity, but now you want to treat the American public with dignity. Okay.
Big part of the essence of who we are, and it's about also just lifting up folks in terms of, I mean, everything again in terms of public health, this public health crisis, in terms of the economy, making sure that people have jobs. You know, we're fighting for $15.
You're damn sure not making sure people have jobs. The economy's doing bad right now. Inflation is running rampant. People are losing jobs. Immigrants pouring into the country. So how are you helping? I don't hear nothing that you're helping. What are you helping?
$1 minimum wage, but I also know nobody aspires to have a minimum wage job. So we also are committed to making sure that we have the training in place and we have the job opportunities that are in place in terms of the creation of new jobs and innovation, so that people can be on a path that is about taking care of themselves and their families.
I just think it's so important to hear from y'all and to know, just to ask you straight up to your face, like how you feel about these things. 2020 has just been a year, for all of us. It just feels like one thing after the next. Some people have experienced loss and hardships worse than others, but it's hard for everyone. It's hard for America right now. And, I really want to know how you feel about all of these issues that are coming up and how you're going to address them. Because it's not just a regular election.
Skip a bit.
And so you're learning vegan recipes, because when I do that, that's like.
Now she's talking about vegan recipes. This was a few years ago, so listen. They're talking about recipes or whatever. I'm just trying to skip from the pandemic stuff. Hold on.
Community. And a healthy community is a safe community. So that's why I talk so much about, our plan that's about investing $100 billion in low interest loans for minority businesses. That's why I talk so much.
100 million for minority businesses. We got any minority business owners? Have you benefited from this nonsense that she's saying? We got any entrepreneurs in here that know what she's talking about? I'm curious.
What we need to do in terms of expanding healthcare. Joe and I have a whole plan around increased Title I funding, which is basically a fancy way of talking about funding that goes to low-income neighborhoods and schools that are in those neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. That's why I talk about what we need to do to increase home ownership. Because we have to reimagine this, and we have to understand that you can't think that the only way to create safe communities is to put more police on the streets. That's just, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it can work. That's not how it will work.
I agree with that, Kamala. I agree with what you're saying. But what about financial freedom? You can't think that just, having less police officers are going to help things, just like having more police officers are going to help things. What about financial literacy, financial freedom, building infrastructure, better opportunities? You can't think that just having less police officers are going to help the issues as well. You have to fix these communities that you're flooding immigrants into. You have to fix these communities where people are losing their jobs. You have to fix these communities that are suffering from inflation. You have to fix them. Do something. Not push pencils.
We need to invest in communities. So that's how I think about it.
Mm-hmm. And then another common question was, how will you guys help the LGBTQIA?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't they have enough help? Don't they have enough funding? And listen, I'm not mad at them getting help and funding. I'm not going to be mad at them getting help and funding. But don't they have enough help and funding? I'm sorry. Listen. Like I said, I'm not mad at them getting funding. I'm not mad at them getting funding. I'm not mad at them getting support from the Democratic left. I'm not mad at them. But what about the black people? I don't see LGBTQ people being assassinated in their house like Sonia Massey. I don't see LGBTQ people getting a leg put on their neck like George Floyd. I see that happening to black people. So when you're talking about funding and hoping the LGBT, listen, I'm not mad at them. Get your funding. Get your support. Because the Democrats, they caping and bamboozling and tap dancing for you anyway. Get your support. But what about black people? We come out and vote for these Democrats and they give us nothing. You know, Oh man, and somebody just said, hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Somebody said, LB Thing says Trump would have pardoned Sonia's killer. Well, that's the thing, LB. I don't support Trump. I'm not supporting Trump. You're not talking to a Trump supporter. You're not talking to a Republican. You're not talking to a conservative. You're talking to a free-thinking, independent-thinking black man. I'm not a conservative and I'm not a liberal. I'm neither. I'm an independent. I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I'm not telling you to vote for Kamala Harris. My issue with Kamala Harris and the Democratic left is that black people have been voting for the Democrats for over 50 years. And we have nothing to show for it. All while they support every other community, whether it be the LGBTQ, European Jewish community, or the Hispanic community. Respectfully. So I'm just calling that out. I'm just calling that out. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let me hit that right now.
What a thrill.
Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Darkness and silence through the night.
A lot of y'all are in the darkness. I need you to hit that like button right now.
What a thrill.
It's a thrill to be here with you, but hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Searching and I'll melt into you.
A lot of y'all are searching and melting for that like button. Hit that like button right now. Baz first bounce. I'm gonna put you in the block party. Stop worrying about my glasses. Worry about yourself. Did you brush your teeth today? Did you wash your ass? You worried about my eyesight. Worry about yourself. Stop majoring in the minors. A lot of y'all like to major in the minors. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. But in the meantime and in between time, you're in the block party. Go get me some barbecue potato chips, some turkey burgers, and some Hebrew Franks. Don't forget the buns. Also, we need some Kool-Aid for the block party, bro. Get us some Kool-Aid, aight? Listen. Kamala Harris she's not for black people. You know why she's not for black people? Because she has rhetoric like this.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And when you have rhetoric like that, and listen, I'm going to do a video and talk about all of the one percenters that are supporting this woman. There's a lot of powerful people in high places that are supporting this woman. I got to do a video on it and talk about it. Because when I talk about it, then you're going to realize why this woman is not somebody you should be supporting. You got a lot of liberal, left-wing, agenda, Democratic bootlickers, and a lot of them are black. A lot of them are compromised, and we're going to talk about them. We got to get them out of here. Because they're trying to sway black people into voting for Kamala Harris. She's compromised. And listen, like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. The Democratic National Convention is a few days away, y'all. We're about 16 days away from the Democratic National Convention. It's going to be a lot of people tap dancing, shucking and jiving and high-fiving at the Democratic National Convention. I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the Democratic National Convention. I will be tuned in. I'm going to have my popcorn ready. You know, so I can't wait for that. But we're going to do more videos talking about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. A lot of you watch my videos. Let me just say this. You watch my videos and you hear me talk disparagingly. Maybe you feel like that about maybe, you know, Kamala Harris or the Democratic left or the liberal agenda. You hear me talk about that and your butt hurt. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about some conservatives as well. Stop being butthurt. I'm an independent. I am not a conservative. I am not a liberal. I am an independent. I have my gripes with the Donald Trump administration as well. But let me get there. The reality of the situation is that black people haven't been voting for the conservative right wing for over 50 years. We've been voting for the Democratic left for over 50 years. So I have more of a gripe with the Democratic left. That's a fact. You know? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like this video. We're going to do more videos. We're going to have more dialogues. We're going to talk more about these things. Listen, election season is upon us. This is the most important election season of our lifetime. Bigger than O'Biden and McCain. Bigger than O'Biden and Mitt Romney. Bigger than Al Gore and Bush. Bigger than Trump and Hillary. This is the biggest election season of our lifetime. Most important one as well. This is for all the marbles. But with that being said, this is the Check-In Report. I am your host, True and Living. Hope you guys have been entertained as well as enlightened. I want to give a shout out to my my moderators. Salute to Sinclair. Sinclair's in the building, putting in that mod work, shutting people up when they need to be shut up. Salute to Sinclair. Salute to all my mods. But again, you know, if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. I will see you guys, God willing, tomorrow. We're gonna do more talks. We're gonna have more dialogue. We got a lot to get to. A lot of things are gonna be happening. With that being said, I hope you guys have been entertained as well as enlightened. This is the Check-In Report. I'll see you guys another video, another time. We are out of here. You guys have a good night. We out.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you.